What I got, you can't buy. It resides between my eyes. Walked through the fire, came out better on the other side. See, life's like a beach if you find the sand. And right now, I'm feeling like 100 grand.
You are listening to Inspired Insider with your host, Dr. Jeremy Wise.
Dr. Jeremy Wise here, founder of InspiredInsider.com, where I talk with inspirational entrepreneurs and leaders. Today is no different. I have Rishi Rana of Cyara, and you can check him out at cyara.com. And it's all customer experience all the time. And we're going to really dig into customer experience. I think this is applicable for all businesses, Rishi. And before we launch into it and I formally introduce you, I always like to point out other episodes of the podcast people should check out. Since this is part of our SaaS series, our software founder and leader series, some interesting ones to check out in the past. We had one of the co-founders of Pipedrive. That was a really interesting episode. One of the co-founders of Zapier was a cool episode. Mailshake was a very interesting episode, and how they're acquiring companies. Also, one of the founding engineers at Mobileye. That was some interesting stories on how they were acquired eventually by Intel for $15.3 billion. And that was a cool story, but it wasn't always like that. There were ups and downs. Even though it seems like things are always sunshine and rainbows, that was not the case. And so check all those episodes out and more on InspiredInsider.com. This episode is brought to you by Rise25. Rise25, we help businesses connect to their dream relationships and partnerships. We do that in a few ways. One, we're an easy button for a company to launch and run a podcast. We do the strategy, accountability, and the full execution and production. I've been podcasting at this point in time for over 16 years and would never stop doing it because I love it. And number two, we're an easy button for our company's corporate gifting. So we make gifting staying top of mind of their clients, partners, prospects, even staff from a culture perspective, simple, easy, and actually affordable. You just give us a list of the people. We'll do everything else and hand select it. And it's a campaign of gifts. It's not like a one-off gift, but we like to send a series of gifts, like think every 4 months for 3 or 4 years, right, to our most important people. So, Rishi, we kind of call ourselves the magic elves that run in the background to make it stress-free for a company to build amazing relationships. Because for me, that's the number one thing in my life. I'm always looking at ways to give to my best relationships. And I've personally, over the past 16 years, found no better way than to profile the people and companies I admire in the podcast and also send them sweet treats in the mail. So go to rise25.com or email support@rise25.com. I am excited to introduce Rishi Rana. He's the CEO of Cyara, the global leader in AI-powered customer experience assurance and productivity. You can see on their website, it's like turn every interaction into a reason why customers stay. Really, he's over 25 years of experience leading enterprise SaaS innovation, and he's driving Cyara's mission to help the world's largest brands, and they do have a lot of the world's largest brands. We talk about Microsoft, Salesforce, some, Blue Cross Blue Shield of California, IBM, Amazon, Lex. There's so many here that it's really they help them deliver flawless, trusted customer experiences, and this is across voice, digital, and AI channels. And previously, he's been I can't even list the number of companies you've helped as leadership, and also you spent 12 years plus at Microsoft as well. So Rishi, thanks for joining me.
No, thank you. Thank you for the warm introduction and the lovely words that you threw at me. But yeah, hey, thank you again for everything.
Let's start with Cyara and what you do. I'm going to pull up the website so people can check it out.
All right. Look, what Cyara does, like what I do is I'm the CEO for Cyara, driving it to its destination that we call the North Star. Our North Star is to make sure that every interaction, we eliminate all bad customer interaction. Now, with that, that's it's simply put. But what we need to provide is a seamless experience across all channels, across in all set of contact centers. We are an agnostic platform that sit on top of any and all contact centers across the globe and across all channels of communication, so omnichannel, and making sure that it is fully enabled, tested, and it is monitored as well. So it's a continuous loop. You're testing it, you're deploying it in production, you're monitoring it, you're bringing it back, and it's a complete DevOps cycle to be providing across our product. Our platform contains those 11 different products that help in a nutshell what I explained.
Talk about how it works a little bit so it gives people an idea. Maybe, I don't know if TD Bank would be the best example because I know it's like a lot of customer facing. How does a company like TD Bank use Cyara?
Yeah, look, I think we are on horizontal. So there are plenty of verticals that we help. We help in retail, we help with healthcare. There are a lot of healthcare customers, again, the very large names that are our customers, and certainly banks as well, with Bank of America and Citibank and others. So TD Bank, I think, look, uh, uh, basically, if you think about it all the way, you have workflows that you need to create in order to attend to your customer needs. It could be as simple as I've forgotten TD Bank my password and I need to reset it, or I need to check what my account balance is. I need to take care of few transactions if you're transacting from that bank and moving your money or assets from one to the other. So it could be plethora of those customer use cases and scenarios. But when you come in through whether you come in through a voice bot or a chat bot, or you come in through your iPad, you just picking up the phone and calling, you going through the browser aspects of it, that experience needs to be seamless. It is humanly impossible to test and verify all those scenarios across the board, and that can happen across with succinctness, but at the same time making sure that it is arriving at the same answer. It doesn't matter which channel. So what we do is we help reduce the amount of tests that need to be generated. We auto generate those test cases for you. We have a designer where you can continue to create, and it's a low code, no code designer where you can drag and drop and create as many test cases. In addition to that, we look at all the call flows that are there, and we generate of what got changed, because things can continuously change in the business as well. You're launching a new credit card, you're launching a new offering. You want your customers to be aware of it, but when they come in, you want to make sure that that's the best example. In case of TD Bank, they go through 350,000 calls sometime in the span of between 12 to 16 months. How do you take that amount of calls and make sure that it is actually getting routed correctly? It is getting attended to correctly, whether in today's day and world by an AI agent or by a human agent. How do you make sure that all of that gets resolved? So we take care of it end to end, making sure that the journey is seamless, and we are then monitoring it. In the monitoring, we can find out proactively what things are failing, bring it back, making sure that we can relaunch that service, that aspect of the business process.
What are the issues people are having, Rishi, of why they come to you? Like, let's take TD Bank, for example. Are they be like, hey, like these people are on hold forever, or the calls are dropping? Like, what are you experiencing from the customer side of why they're switching and using your solution for themselves?
Well, look, I think if you launch anything, you want to make sure that your customers get attended to. There is not a I mean, I'm again working at Microsoft or working at Cyara. For me, I think number one, we all create products that provide solutions that are addressing customers' needs. But so towards the end of the day, it's the customer needs, and if those solutions are not solving the customer needs, is when the customer is reaching back to the business and saying, "Hey, I want X, Y, Z. I want to make sure." The last thing you want over there is for the customer to wait in the line. Waiting in the line used to happen in the 1940s and 50s. The world has moved forward where it's my money in the bank. And let's take, in case, since we're talking financial institutions, I don't want to wait in the line. It's my money, and I deserve that whether it's a $10 transaction or a $10 million transaction, my money needs to be attended and I need my answers. So understanding that intent the objective of the customer is so critical. Understanding in the less number of steps is so critical. That's number one point that all contact center leaders would abide by. Number two comes in, again, going back to it, that you're not hopping over from one to the other. For example, I've experienced it, I'm sure you have as well, is when you call and you have to enter that same account number 3 times, or say that same account number 3 times, or hey, I'm going to transfer you to some other agent, and then you start all over again. Okay, what's your name and what's your account number, and at some point you say, I want to just get my work done and get out of here. So how do you avoid that? You avoid that by having a proper business process. That business process needs to be tested in a real-time environment before you launch it. It needs to be simulated. When we're talking about generative AI coming in now, and there are voice bots and chatbots that we are moving towards, we all know that learning models are great, but those learning models, if you ask 5 times, what is rise25.com and what does it provide, it will give you 5 answers. It will almost be the same, but it will be 5 different answers. You ask it 5 more times, it might be 5 times 5, 25 different answers, but it will all look and feel the same because you've asked that question in a different manner. So it's very, very critical for that business process to understand the intent, the objective. And that's what we help provide as a value. Number 2, we provide as a value is that we reach where humans cannot reach with the permutations and combinations. We have our engines that we have will produce those areas for you where you can easily test it, generate it, automate it. That way you are guaranteed a coverage before you're launching your service. And look, I think sometimes we are also looking at it from the 911 calls and the fire department calls and the prevention. So these are where lives are dependent, where human lives are dependent on it. So it's not just about a bank and a transaction or retail with from a Walmart perspective. It's a Black Friday and I want to get the best deal out there. We're talking about something that is much more impactful to a human being.
I'm wondering, Rishi, obviously you work with enterprise clients and large clients with high volumes of, whether it's a chatbot, email, phone. But I think it's instructive for any business just to talk about what are some of the mistakes you've seen across all these companies, the biggest mistakes with bad customer experiences.
Yeah, I think that's what we help prevent, first and foremost. But yeah, I think what we see is sometimes you're copying a business process from an existing process, and you're launching a new service or a product, and you're slapping on the same business process over there because it worked in the past. We know the good old saying, what worked in the past got you here, but it's not going to take you to the next level. So we see that mistake quite often being repeated because it takes a lot of time to define that detailed business process and understanding the customer's persona. With the customer's persona, the customer behavior. And that behavior, and the last piece I would say, the third and the last piece I would say is the breadth of your customer persona, whether it's the person who was born in 1940s versus a baby boomer versus a Gen X versus a Gen Z and millennial, and all the way you come. It depends on who are you targeting. So you can't just slap on the same business process. Understanding that is very critical. In today's day and age, and certainly I would wrap it up by saying that, hey, we all are short on time as humans. We all, when we pick up the phone or we contact a vendor provider that we have we want to do some transaction with, our bandwidth is low, mine as well. I need to get in the shortest time frame my question answered and I'm out of here. And I'm not ready to go through the pleasantries of how are you doing and how's your day and is it sunny, is it not, kind of scenarios. Like I want to get to the point and get out of here. And I see a lot of that happening. So how do you still attend to that anxiety of the customer or the place of it, but you're making sure that you're still providing the best service, and finding that balance is where I see a lot going wrong, where we are slapping all old business processes and launching things and then realizing it and then taking a step back, etc., which can be avoided.
I know AI is a big topic, and when I look at your company, you talk about, seamless customer experience assurance, voice, chat, AI, and beyond. I'd love for you to talk about generative AI and how it's impacting companies, how you see it impacting companies. Could
Yeah.
be good or bad.
Yeah, look, I think everybody and their moms are talking about AI these days. So that's the first place to start. Where we come in is we have seen, I'll put it in three different spectrums. One is about deterministic AI. When you have deterministic, like these business workflows that I was just talking about, you can have that tested, confirmed through AI. So rather than humans doing it, ours is an automation place, but you still need humans to do it. How can AI assist and get that job done faster and better? So that's one, that's deterministic. We then go to all the way to the next spectrum, which is about agentic AI, which is about AI agents in an autonomous manner are able to test and monitor. You're proactively able to tell, hey, that's what's going to fail. Look, I think global businesses that we treat with the Googles and Microsofts and Salesforce and others of the world as well, uh, uh, um, they have customers in 170 countries. They have more than 200 plus carriers. We support 140 countries and we support 330 carriers across the globe, which means at any given time there could be a failure across. How do you proactively are able to get that done? As an example, I'll say very recently, AWS services went down. It was last week. It happened to, or a lot of people were affected. Businesses were affected. Our solution was able to predict that before it happened. By the way, to our customers who were able to know, now we were not able to. We don't remediation is not what we are in. We are in. We don't optimize it, but we are proactively, again, testing and monitoring. So we are providing it to you. So we were able to, and it was so heartening to receive those kudos from our customers. Now, with AI, I think we are going to be able to do that a lot better in that area. And lastly, I would say between the spectrum of deterministic versus agentic comes in hybrid. Businesses that I'm seeing are moving to lower cases areas where you want to just get, since we're talking financial institutions, you just want to get your account, you want to get a basic transaction and etc., or you want to change an address or change a phone number. That could be taken care by the voice bots and chatbots driven by AI agents. The more complex ones will still need to follow the human agents piece. So in a spectrum of deterministic versus AI agents, there's a hybrid model. How do you actually get that done effectively and still be able to make sure that it's omni-channel and you can still get the business transaction done in the fastest possible manner?
I'm curious, Rishi, implementation. I mean, you're dealing with huge companies. You have a lot of testing and things you have to kind of deploy. When someone comes on with you, and again, I don't know if they get everything. You're like, okay, you need all the contact center, the chatbot, or maybe they're like, we just want to start with the contact center testing. Are typically people doing one of them, or do they kind of release them across all channels?
Usually it is one or two channels.
One or two channels. Okay.
They
I'm
want
curious, implementation wise, how long, like, okay, we need to do chatbot testing across the whole, all the platforms that or the site, right? What's the range of implementation? I would think it would take a while based on the volume and everything that they do.
So for us, it is actually quite fast. Our implementation cycle for end to end is actually 3 weeks. And let me explain that why. Because we sit on top of so there's a contact center, and then you might have a bot, in this case, a voice bot or chat bot. We encapsulate that bot and we create those things. So for us, we come with already in baked 57, 58 NLP, which is natural language programming objects and machine learning objects. So by the time we're there, we actually know exactly what it is. So our connectors can plug in we can extract what is the business process flow. We know that, and then we can help generate those test cases, or we can help in generating. Today, you also have a test case designer, Micah mentioned, which you can drag and drop, and it's very easy. One can create that. So for us, it's relatively speaking a lot easier. It used to be a couple of months of exercise in the past, but we have been able to cut it down. In fact, we do a 330% ROI confirmation for the money that you spent with us in 6 months. So in 6 months, in fact, you get your money's return plus more.
How is I'm curious in the enterprise level, how long is the sales cycle typically from, again, we're talking, I'm sure it takes a long time for someone at Blue Cross Blue Shield California to make a decision on these things. Even if it's well, listen, you're like, hey, it'll be a 3-week implementation. We overlay on top of it, and it'll probably still go through lots of meeting. What's the kind of the range of sales cycle that we're looking at with these enterprise clients?
Yeah, see, I think we are doing relatively well. Our average is between 115 to 130, that range. We sometimes go to 190 as well, but look, I think roughly speaking, 3 months, and that's an average. Now, why is that an average? We last quarter we did actually 87. I maniacally measure that piece because it's very important for our productivity and our numbers. So, but these days, I also say that enterprise buyers are much savvier. And again, all these LLMs that we have, whether it's the OpenAI piece or Llama or Gemini or others, get a lot of information out there. So the customer is much more informed and is already coming with preconceived set of notions, which can be dangerous, but is also coming in with preconceived set of questions. I just want my 10 questions answered. And if you check box on all 10, I'm good with it. Don't talk to me about the remainder 90 things that you have, because I only care about these 10 things. So having the buyer more savvy actually helps. The 3 months to 4 months that we spend now is convincing that those 10 things can be done by us, or no, or we realizing it, frankly, by the way, that, hey, I don't think this is something we can do. We can do 8 out of 10. We can't do 10 out of 10, but I want to let you know that this is the value you will get. So it's that journey, I believe. Like we all buyers are much more savvier than how I dealt with 10 years ago.
I'm curious what your tech stack, like obviously you rattle those off like no problem. Like you're like 87 days, 1 hour and 2 minutes is our, so I'm curious what do you use from a tech stack, from like a CRM, PM tool, communication tool with the team? Talk about your tech stack.
Well, tech stack, I mean, I firmly believe we are in a SaaS business. Our entire product stack is on AWS. AWS as a partner, AWS as a customer as well. They use our products as well to test their own things. From a retail perspective is what I'm talking about. I mean, so is Walmart a customer of ours, but internally speaking, we have absolutely gone through a complete overhaul in the last 2 years of. I'm not just using the technology; I'm using technology for me to get better. And in order for me to get better, I use Salesforce as my CRM product. I use NetSuite as my project management, also my revenue management aspects of it. So work with Oracle, work with Salesforce. They are our customers, they are our partner. Like I buy from them as well in order for me to run a very effective business. And so does Microsoft from a Copilot and all of that. So we are absolutely have to be tools. My mantra that I've been telling my team and everybody else in the company is, if you can automate it, you should.
When you come in as CEO, what are some of the first things that you do?
First things as CEO, look, I think taking over a transition from founders is never easy. So if anybody thinks that is, it never is. The second thing is I remind myself and I remind the team. Just because it was done that way does not mean it is correct and does not mean it will take us to the next level. There's a lot of folks who would remind you to say, this is how it was done this way. Well, yes, that's what got us here, but not take us to the next level. So that's sort of underlying foundational aspects of it or rules of engagement too. The third piece is I do believe firmly in different place, different time, different results. What I mean by that is I'm here now. It is a different place. It's a different time, and it will produce different results. Uh, NFL season is on. One person goes from one team to the other and performs better because it's a different place, different time, and different results. And you go and you don't perform. It's again the same reason behind it. So we have to be cognizant of those areas before you take the baton over from somebody else and say, now I'm going to run that race. But understand where that person is coming from is very critical. Understand that. But be firm in taking a decision very quick and making sure that you're going to continue to. So don't blame yourself if you fail, because I go back to those three underlying principles.
I'm curious some of the learnings of, going from CEO, working with founders and kind of transitioning into that CEO leadership role. Because people listening, they could be founders and they're like, yeah, we definitely want to bring in that professional CEO to take the company to the next level. And CEOs listening be like, okay, they may be transitioning into a company and working with founders. What are some of the learnings you had in that role that will help others make that transition easier for them?
Yeah, look, I think the first part is that founder or not, I think you need to have a very good understanding of what the company does and what's the company does, what's the investment thesis, and then the third piece that comes in is what is your own vision to take it to the next level, and that needs to be centered even prior to coming in. So then after that comes in the mission piece of it to say that, hey, okay, is the organization going to be delivering the aspects that we were talking about? Look, we all work for money, we work for title, but we also work for impact that we create. And if we are not able to have any of those 3 or 4 dials in our life, is where we say, okay, my purpose is not being met, or my people aspect is not being met, or my intellectual capacity is not being met, and I need to go find another role, another place. I also remind myself and I remind the team that I hire, until you're on planet Earth, you'll never be happy. You can always be in pursuit of happiness, and that's what is there in our constitution. So remember that we are pursuing it. We'll never be happy. So it's a very balanced area of saying understanding before I'm taking on the role as to what, again, going back to my investment thesis, etc. comments, but then moving it forward. People is a very, very critical part of it, and pace and energy then after that.
Thanks for that. What was a lesson and memorable story from your time at Microsoft?
Plenty. Look, I owe my career to that company. I graduated from Texas A&M. Was my second job in life when I moved all the way to Seattle after being in Dallas. And I can recount all my years and how I grew. But I think my most famous, or famous as in famous for me, is being on the same stage with Bill Gates and doing the presentation. It was a daunting 3-month experience to get to that level of precision, and making sure that my talk track, my presentation is coinciding. But look, I think I got the opportunity. I grabbed it with both hands, and I would not let go of it. Given a chance again, I would do it again. But it taught me a lot. It taught me about being precise. It taught me about being accurate, and it taught me about what matters when you deliver that message out to the public and why it is so critical.
What was the presentation on?
So we were launching what is a Office XP edition a long time ago, developer edition, and my claim to fame was a portion that we had added in the product. I was supposed to demo the product as a product leader, and Bill was going through his own presentation, but he would pause and he would bring multiple product leaders to present their innovations. I was one of them.
That's great. Who are some of your mentors, business or leadership mentors throughout your career? They could be colleagues too.
Yeah. I mean, hey, plenty in the space for sure. I can never thank enough. I ping a lot of them, depending upon what problem I'm facing as well. Uh, so I have mentors who are in the private equity space who can tell me because if the businesses are owned by private equity that I'm running, I do need to lean on them to understand. Hey, this is the trouble. This is what it is. Well, how would you go about approaching that problem? How would you go about uh, so I take advice, whether it's a 10-minute advice or whether it's a 45-minute advice, it depends on the problem. Uh, uh, so I have categorized people from, and then I have some really good people leaders that I have met in my life, my peers, actually even people who reported to me. And I have put them in that bucket. So I have a people category bucket, I have a technology category bucket, and then I have a private equity category bucket, uh, and uh, and then some large public company bucket as well. The folks that I know, I ping them depending on their time and depending on the problem, who can help me traverse through what I'm going through.
What are some of the resources? It could be books, could be podcasts that you've turned to throughout the years that would be good for people to check out.
Well, certainly rise25.com. So, hey, everybody should go there. So, that said, look, I think the Y Combinator series is very insightful. I'm getting older in my journey, but it's so exciting to hear the new kids on the block, should I say, who are actually trying to solve the problem that has not been solved before, and how do they go about it? So that's pretty exciting. I think I certainly take time. I go for my runs and I listen to that while I'm running.
Are you a podcast person or more of like an audible book person?
Uh, I'm actually a book reader, but I'm a
Hmm.
podcast because I get that energy while I'm running. I think it gives me different ideas. Brain opens up more, so that's what I use while I'm running, either listening to a good music or a podcast. But when it comes to book reading, I don't like the audible piece. I like to read it and flip pages.
What are your favorite books of all time?
Favorite book of all times. I mean, there are plenty. I can. I mean, uh, uh, The Alchemist comes to my mind since you're asking that question. I think
I love that book. Yeah.
I've read it twice, and every time you read it, you like every time, as in sometimes I go back to a chapter and you get different perspectives of the same sentence in different ways. So,
Um, I want to just pull up your site for a second and have you talk about this. You have transform, monitor, optimize, connect.
mhm.
Talk about this for a second.
Yeah, now, look, I think we have tried to segregate our products into what they perform. So we are again a contact. We are a, QA provider, an insurance provider, and on top of contact center. So Transform does the following. We do functional testing, regression testing, performance testing. So you already have a business process. How do you go about it? Now comes the monitoring piece. You have to monitor that piece. So there's monitoring from a telecom perspective, like I was talking about the number of countries and carriers. You have to deep dive into IVRs, which you have to understand. You have to understand the agent environment, which is to the precision. The agent could be in Philippines in Manila, or could be in Mexico, or could be in any other country. How do you get that? And then there's that caller ID assurance that we provide. Optimize is more about getting to as the world is moving towards generative AI and that voice bots and chatbots. So one is the traditional set of channels, but one is like I just need to get into that. or we provide solutions. And last but not the least, comes in after that purple category, which is more about the RTC, web RTC technology. So if you're using most organization, Chrome as a operating system from Google is based on that, and that's what we integrate with. So you would absolutely need that in probing and understanding the networking aspects of it, whether you have the right, like we are on Zoom right now. Zoom is a customer, Zoom is a partner. So we are testing its entirety through all of these technologies and products that we just mentioned.
Rishi, where do you spend most of your time as CEO, or how do you segment the different things that you're working on?
Yeah, I think, look, I think the week and the months are divided depending upon the priorities and how the quarter is flowing. But that said, mine more is about the creating from the most of the time, good 50 to 60% is crafting the vision and the strategy and making sure that we are being focused on it, but nimble-footed enough to change as we continue to learn more from the customers. So number one is that. But that comes in tons and tons of customer meetings. I love talking to customers. I love learning from them, because if I'm not learning, then I've stopped myself from growing. So till date, as an example, I keep a log of all my customer meetings. I've done now till date about 234 customer meetings, and I keep a log of it. I learn what have I learned out of that meeting, because that gives me the understanding, and then comes back to the internal facing aspects of it from a product perspective, from an R&D perspective, so that's what I look at it from a 20%. And the last piece goes in as all about growth. For me, so growth both from a renewals perspective, growth from a just getting into the new logos. I think I'm happy to say that, hey, we're growing at good about 36-37% of our business last year and this year is coming from new logos. So it takes effort to continue to talk to the CEOs of other companies. I'm talking in the mid-market space, or the executives across, and explaining why you need us, why we are the best solution for you, and going to win that race. So it's exciting, but that's where the time goes.
This is great. Rishi, I just want to thank you. Everyone can check out Cyara.com. If you've watched the video, it's cyara.com to learn more. Check out more episodes of the podcast, and we'll see everyone next time. Rishi, this was great. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
What I got, you can't buy. It resides between my eyes. Walked through the fire, came out better on the other side. See, life's like a beach if you find the sailing right now. I'm feeling like 100 grand.